June 6th, 2014. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 49 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting next to me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Listeners of the show know that your dad often accompanies us to our little gambling outings.
Yeah, more often than not.
Yes. It's rare that he's not with us.
It's rare that he's not with us. And that's, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, you're a good son.
Yeah.
You're showing him a good time.
Well, and, might need to borrow money, so.
He might need to borrow money from you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So it's good that you're there.
It's good that I'm
You're
there.
his ATM.
Right.
That's right. Well, tell everybody what happened this last weekend.
Well, we were out there Friday night.
We all went Friday night.
Yeah,
yes.
my mom went,
Yeah.
me, you, my dad.
Yeah.
And we stayed fairly late. Well, Saturday, my brother was flying back from New York. He had been on a business trip.
Mm-hmm.
He got back to L.A. around 7:30-ish on Saturday night.
Okay.
His driver picked him up, took him to his office where he had left his car at his office, got his car, and drove down to Harris Rincon.
Okay, so he flew into Los Angeles.
He flew to Los Angeles.
Okay. Drove down to Harris Rincon.
Drove down to Harris Rincon. It's about an hour and a half drive
Yep.
or so. For the sole purpose of bringing my dad home, who had gone back out there Saturday afternoon without us, took the bus,
Okay, right.
went out there, got himself a room for Saturday night.
And the reason was because it was the big $50,000 giveaway, right?
It's a
what he was doing.
$50,000 giveaway. He didn't want to miss that. And then Sunday, there's some other, promotion thing to get you there.
Okay, so even though he was
So-
with us Friday night, he wanted to go out Saturday, stay overnight, and
Right.
so he could be there Sunday, so he
Right.
could gamble more.
Well,
and
my-
he had won on Friday night, so he was in a good mood. He was ready to get back
He had
there,
won.
yeah.
He was ready to get back. Well, when my brother, before he left New York, called my mom, and my mom told him all the plans my dad had, my brother said, well, I'll drive out there and I'll bring him home on
Okay.
Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's what my brother did. He met him there. So he got there. He got to Rincon at 9:30ish or so, 9:45, and they were gambling. And they happened to meet your sister-in-law.
My sister-in-law, Eleanor.
Yeah,
Right.
who's there quite
Right.
often.
Now, and your dad, just for listeners who might know, is handicapped. He can get around on a walker.
Yeah.
Okay, but usually,
Kinda barely.
usually you'll take up a scooter that you
Yeah,
own.
he has his own scooter
Yeah, okay.
that we take up. But when I'm not with him, he doesn't have that
He
scooter.
took the bus, so he didn't
took
have
the
the
bus,
scooter. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
But he rented a scooter when he got to Rincon, and it was a bigger, more heavy-duty scooter than the one he has.
Okay, so just to set the stage, a scooter that he's not used to driving.
That he's not used to
All
driving.
right, please continue.
It's a little bigger.
Mhm.
So I guess they saw Eleanor sitting at a slot machine playing.
Uh-huh.
And my dad got all excited.
Yep.
Oh, there's Eleanor. And he's racing over in his scooter.
Uh-huh.
And depending on whose story you hear, it varies. But the bottom line is he ran into her.
Okay.
Well, I think while she was sitting at the machine,
Okay.
and his scooter hit her knee, hit her leg,
Uh-huh.
right? And he didn't even realize he hit her.
Now, and I'm hearing this secondhand too. My understanding is that it's like he just kept going.
Yeah.
He like plowed through her.
Right. Well, and that could be very well true. But he evidently he hit him, but he had no clue that he hit her. And my brother's mortified. He's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And my brother said he asked her, many times, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Oh, okay," but she kept rubbing her knee.
Yeah.
Like it obviously hurt. And you said she had a bruise later.
I heard that she got a bruise from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So evidently she's okay though.
Okay.
I mean, so that's the good news.
Well, we knew that it was going to happen eventually,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Well, it was just a matter of time.
He's come close to taking me out, I know, on a few occasions.
And I always hoped it'd be somebody in our family
Yeah.
because less likely he's going to get sued.
Well, close enough, I guess. Someone in my family.
Yeah, he
right?
got close enough. But yeah, he just ran into her. He had no clue. And when we told him what he had done, he's like, no. And Christopher's like, yeah. And I said, yeah, I talked to Mark. She's got a bruise. He's like, oh my gosh. And he was saying that, he was trying to hug her or something. And he hit the handle accidentally and it went forward.
Yeah.
And, so who knows?
Yeah.
But Yeah, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, we kind of think the fire bet's going to happen for us, but we knew that your dad hitting somebody
Right.
with his scooter was going to happen.
Oh, it was way more inevitable to happen. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, we'll check with Eleanor. Hopefully she's okay. A little bit of news, and this isn't making big news, but the World Series of Poker is going on at Rio and Las Vegas right now. And some poker players have reported being robbed or burgled from their hotel room.
Yeah.
And this was reported by Poker News, and they were just looking at some tweets on Twitter. There was one Finnish player, Lori Pesonen, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but she tweeted, both my and Joke Bees, that's who she was rooming with, laptops stolen from our room at Rio. Everything else, wallets, iPads, etc., still here. And she was speculating that maybe there was a little while ago in Barcelona at the EPT, there were cases of people's laptops being stolen and then returned to their room with malware being put on the laptops so that they could monitor how they were playing online. They could see their whole cards, that kind of thing.
Right,
yeah. So she was wondering if maybe that was the case.
Like they were going to return it and they just hadn't returned it before they got back.
Right. Yeah. Now, who knows if that was the situation here. And then Man Win, another player, he tweeted, I'm going to look at it here, attention poker players, large sums of money has been stolen out of my room at Rio last night. And the Poker News article went on to say that it was, they talked to Man and it was $35,000 stolen out of the room. Cash that just happened to be in his backpack and another player in their backpacks. And it wasn't all their money. They had kind of, placed it at different parts in the room. They said nothing else was touched, though, as if the people knew.
Yeah. So that's weird because you think if somebody's going to burglarize a room, they're going to take everything of value. I mean, wallets. I mean, anything of value, right?
It's almost, how did they know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like an inside job from the hotel. It almost sounds like an acquaintance.
Right. Like somebody knew they had money. And my other question is, why don't they put their money in the safe?
You would think so. Now, some of these safes in hotel rooms are not terribly big.
Right.
You might have trouble putting $35,000 in there. And a laptop.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe. Well,
you
sure.
could fit it in there if it's in hundreds. Maybe not if it's in ones. But.
And that's only part of their money. But you're right. I mean, just as a general, certainly I always do that.
Yeah.
If I'm leaving any money in the room, it's going in the safe.
Oh, when I'm not in the room, everything of value goes in the safe.
Now, sometimes those safes can't handle a laptop.
Right.
That is for sure. I know that they are getting bigger to handle electronics, iPads, that kind of thing.
Right.
But some of those older ones, you might not
we
be
put
able to.
our, we took the last time when we went to Atlantic City, we took the,
we took the iPad.
We took iPads and stuff.
Yeah.
And, for the plane trip, I put them in the safe.
Yeah, they
all fit in the
You're
safe.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, who knows if this is really an epidemic at Rio. Now the word's out and, maybe it'll stop. But it's just good advice anytime you're, in a hotel and you've got cash, you definitely use the safe.
There's a lot of things security-wise you should do. I mean, I always check the elevator out real good in the hallways.
Yeah.
I know they're all monitored by cameras and stuff, but that doesn't do you any good after the fact.
Well, and here's what they were saying. Apparently at Rio, the hallways do not have cameras.
Oh, God.
And that really surprised me. Yeah, the elevators do. Of course,
but
the rooms
not the
don't.
Hallways?
No, the hallways didn't have them.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think of Rio?
Well,
as a casino.
Now it's an old, decrepit casino, right?
I always thought it was a dump, period.
Well, now it is, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, if I was playing the World Series, I wouldn't be staying there.
No.
Then get a nice room at Caesars and
just take the shuttle over and get a cab or whatever.
Get a cab.
Well, I think that's what
play.
most pros do.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I don't know, but
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just not the nicest place.
No, not anymore.
And I don't even like the casino layout it's just never rubbed me the right way.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to go there this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be dancing girls and it'll make it, worthwhile or something.
Hey, let's go to our voicemail hotline. Don't forget, give us a call. Our hotline number is 951-292-4377. And if that's too hard to remember, just remember 951-2-WAGERS.
951-2-WAGERS.
And we've got a call this episode from Derek. Let's give a listen.
Well, hello to my new favorite podcast. This is Derek calling you out of Utah. And I have to say, I had a whole diatribe I was going to go off about the April Fool's Day episode with the Salt Lake City. It cracked me up, but I don't know if you guys have heard of a little town called Wendover, Nevada. It's on the Utah-Nevada border, and that's basically Utah's casino right there. They have a few casinos, probably 4 or 5 casinos, and buses that go out there every day, and they have an airport. I can tell some of your listeners like to travel around or whatever. They have some really great deals. They fly all around the country, and they bring you in there for 3-4 days, something like that. Give you room, board, buffets, and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, it's really, really cheap, and I think it's wendoverfun.com or something like that. It's not it's not Vegas by any stretch, but it's not bad. Anyways, cracked me up when you were talking about Utah's casinos, or Salt Lake City. That, and then when you were talking about Mesquite, Nevada, that's southern Utah right there. It's about 45 minutes or an hour outside of a town called St. George there in Utah. And tons of people go down there. If you look around when you're down there, you'll see mainly Utah license plates in the parking lot at some of those casinos. So anyways, that cracked me up. I was going to go off on a whole bunch of different stuff, but I love your guys' podcast. I've been pretty much listening to it for the last 3-4 weeks, and I went through about every back episode. Last time I was out to Wendover on the craps table, I got killed pretty good, and I was going to ask you guys your opinion on kind of just money management or some of that kind of thing. I can't quite seem to get down. I'm either on a hot streak or a slow, painful death streak. So anyways, that's my question for you. And I also wanted to ask you about the bubble machines, the craps bubble machines, if you guys have ever played those or seen those. Kind of your thoughts on that. So it's probably a long message for you, but keep up the good work, and I love the podcast, and I'll probably be calling you somewhat regularly and giving you the update on the old Utah casino, the Lotto Day Saints, as we call them down here. All right. Bye.
I love that Lotto Day Saints. That's good. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
So Derek left us a second voicemail too, basically just to kind of clarify some of the things he talked about. His second call got cut off. We use Google Voice for our voicemail. I think there's a 3-minute limit.
Time you can talk.
Yeah. So I looked into it. I don't think there's any way to increase that. But anyway, so thanks for the call, Derek. Yeah, this Wendover, it's West Wendover. There's a Wendover on the Utah side, and then West Wendover on the Nevada side.
So
apparently.
It really is on the border. Then
it's right there.
Town
Yeah,
that crosses the border.
Yeah,
okay.
And
interesting.
I was looking into it. Yeah, there are great deals here. Now, Derek was talking about how you can take the bus from Salt Lake City to get over there, and they give you like a free buffet. And
how long's that? Did he say how long the bus ride was? An hour or something?
About 2 hours. I think you could
2 hours.
Yeah, you could get there faster in a car, but for the bus, it's about 2 hours.
That's not bad, though.
It's not too bad.
I wonder how often their buses run.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, at least once a day, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Yeah. So they've got that from Salt Lake, but then the other thing that's nice is there's an airline that flies like these charter flights from all these different cities around the country to Wendover as part of junkets.
Like a junket. Like we did when we went to Elko.
Right. We went to Elko, which is also up in northern Nevada once, and I did one of those junkets. So I was looking at the map. The furthest east they fly from is like Wisconsin.
Okay.
So it's not
Midwest then.
Yeah, not from like the East Coast and that kind of thing. And they don't fly from Southern California. So it's not something we could take advantage of.
That's funny. Well, probably because no demand, right? People would go to Vegas.
Right, they go to Vegas anyway. And I'm sure that's why they don't fly from here. I'll tell you, it's the kind of thing that if they did, we would do it.
Yeah, we
in a second. And see, this is the thing is obviously it's not Las Vegas, right? You know, it's just kind of a small town there with a few casinos. But, you know, for like you and me, I mean, gambling's a whole thing. If it's just a new place to go gambling.
Right.
I mean, I love Vegas, but I don't need all the extra Vegas stuff.
No,
you know, I would just like to go to a new place.
Just to see what it's like.
And the reason we would do it is because how cheap it is. So get this, the closest to us is they fly out of Redding, California, which is up in Northern California.
Right.
Okay. For 3 nights per person, 3 nights in the hotel and airfare, $149.
That's great.
Yeah. For the flight and the room.
Now you're paying, we're leaving tomorrow for Vegas.
Yes. Right.
And you're paying what, $187
$187
round trip
Yeah.
just for the plane ticket.
just for the plane ticket.
and it's closer from San Diego to Vegas than it is from Redding to Wendover, I bet you.
probably, and I'm getting a pretty good deal at $187.
Right, because you're
unfortunately,
coming
yes.
back early on Sunday morning. It would have been over $200 if you had stayed later
Right,
in the day.
right. So $149 from Redding, California. One of the furthest ones I found from Green Bay, Wisconsin, $239.
That's pretty cheap.
Airfare and the hotel.
We fly to La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is southern Wisconsin. From San Diego to get to La Crosse, we paid $750 a ticket.
It's
last
crazy.
year.
Yeah.
We paid $3,000 for the four of us to get to La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Wow.
So you can do it on the way back. You know what I should do? I should get a junket from Green Bay
And
to win, and then just rent a car and drive home.
drive the rest of the way. Well, now it's not like they fly every day. These
Right.
there are only specific dates for specific cities.
Right.
So, each city they'll fly to Wendover maybe once every 3 months, something like that.
That's usually the catch. I
Yeah,
mean, you have
right.
to go on their schedule.
Right, exactly. But still, we'd do this in a second.
yeah.
Like we said, we went to Elko that one time, right? So if
Right,
we're willing
sure.
to do that,
Right.
we would do this. So
And we may actually go there once anyway. When you're driving to up to, let's say you're going to see Bryce or Zion or go to,
if we were up in that area,
Yeah,
we
we
would.
definitely
I can't
stop.
see us making a special trip unless they start, flying out of San Diego there. But
Right.
if we were up in that area, for sure we'd stop by.
yeah, I liked it. He said they had cheap food and
Yeah, right.
old time
yeah.
Vegas deals.
Well, the website is wendoverfun.com. So
WENDOVERFUN.com.
right, exactly. So check that out. See if it flies out of one of your cities. I'm sure there's some listeners who'd be interested. And again, it's not Vegas. If you go to Vegas, for all the Vegas-y things, not just casinos, well, there might not be much here for you. But if you like to just, get away to a different gambling location.
I'll tell you what you do. You live in Green Bay. You got relatives in Salt Lake City.
Uh-huh.
You take the cheap flight, way cheaper than any flight you can get. Go visit your relatives, right?
Go fly into Wendover
Yeah,
and
go
then
visit
take
your relatives for a couple of take the bus to Salt Lake, see your relatives for a couple of days, come back, put a few bucks in the slot
Now,
machine, and fly home.
I wonder if that's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean-
as long as you're willing to fly on the date when they fly out of
right.
Green
I mean,
Bay,
if you're say you're my dad, you're retired, time doesn't mean anything to you anymore.
And so Derek was also talking about Mesquite because you're going to be going to Mesquite here in a couple of months for a wedding.
July 20.
We don't have to give
20th
him the
or
exact date at this point, all right? But yes, you're
Be
going in July,
prepared.
all right.
If you're going to be in Mesquite, I will be there.
And I drove through Mesquite once. We actually had stayed in St. George, Utah the night before, and we were driving home. We were going to stop in Vegas. We stopped off in Mesquite. I got food poisoning in St. George.
Oh, my
We
gosh.
went to just like a little family restaurant, and I got a patty melt. And I said, you know what I'd like on this patty melt? You know what I'd like? A little extra mayonnaise.
Oh, never get the mayonnaise.
So they brought the mayonnaise out. I'm sure it was the side of mayonnaise that did, because nobody else in the family got sick.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's the mayonnaise. It's like the trip that you, Paul, and I coming back from Vegas, and we stopped at Carl's Jr.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you two were fine. I was sick like a dog for 3 days, and they're in the front seat, these two jokers. I'm in the back seat.
Yeah.
And we had just eaten and we're going back, and I had lost in Vegas, so I wasn't in a particularly good mood.
Yep.
But all of a sudden I felt terrible, and they're just giving me the biggest, oh, it's just because you lost.
Yeah, we thought he just was, upset because he'd had a bad trip, right?
Oh
And-
my God. We barely made it back to my house, and then I heaved for like 2.5 days straight. I mean, it's the worst I've ever been sick. I didn't eat at Carl's Jr. for like 3 years. I couldn't even look at a Carl's Jr.
Well, now when we were in St. George, we were staying at a KOA campground. So I got sick in the middle of the night. It's not like I'm in a nice hotel room. We were in a cabin, but there wasn't a restroom. So all through the night, I had to, trek
Run
across
outside.
go into the, the restroom, the shower restroom area all night long.
There's nothing worse than getting food poisoning in an outhouse.
So anyway,
It's like insult to injury.
that was my St. George experience. But I heard Mesquite's real nice.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
we stopped there, but
I'm sure in middle to end of July, it'll be real nice. It'll probably be 116. I'll be at the craps table ordering a hot chocolate extra whipped cream.
Yeah.
People will be saying, what the hell? I don't know what the kids are going to do. I was thinking about that today. I don't know why. It just occurred to me that it's a casino. So what are the kids going to do? Go out by the pool? It'd be like 114 out
they
there.
could go golf.
Yeah,
I heard they
got
got golf courses.
Yeah, maybe that's what they'll
Just give them
do.
some money and some clubs. Send them out on the
I hope
green.
they have an arcade.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, you'll find out.
Yeah,
You'll let
we'll
us
find
know.
out. I'll let you know.
All right, Derek. So as far as money management goes, well, it sounds like you were playing fairly conservative. In your second phone call, you're talking about how you were playing. He said he was basically doing pass line with odds and placing the 6 and 8, which is a conservative way to play. Action conservative, maybe I'd call it, right? Because you're getting out there on the 6 and 8, right?
Yeah.
And those have low house edges as far as the place bets go.
Yeah. But anytime you're placing, you're a little less conservative than if you just like made a come bet.
Like a pass line and two come bets.
Yeah.
But, even that, if the dice are cold, if
Yeah,
you're
right.
on
Oh, sure. You can lose
there's not much
either
you
way.
can do. Here's what we'll say about money management. You need way more money than you probably think to weather the storm on any kind of gambling. Poker, blackjack, craps. I've been a victim of this too, and I'm sure you have too.
Oh, yeah.
It's surprising how much you actually need. So you need to think ahead of time that you should overestimate how much money you're going to need.
Right.
To
especially craps, because it is one of those games. And you'll hear this. I heard this just the other day from a novice player, a guy who I bowl with that doesn't really play craps.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about it. He said, what do you play? And I said, oh, mostly craps. And he said, oh, that's the game where it goes pretty quick, but it also can come back pretty quick. And you've got to weather the storm and wait for the good roll.
Yeah.
And that was from a guy who doesn't play.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's so true.
Yeah. It's very true. So even if you're playing smart, taking the good bets, the pass line and taking full odds and what have you, if it's depending on how,
if they're bad rolls, they're bad rolls.
Bad rolls are bad rolls. And, you just got to weather that. So, I remember years ago, I was playing, this was when they pretty much only had double odds at casinos in Las Vegas. I was playing $5 double odds, pass line, 2 come bets, right?
Right.
I went through $1,000 over a weekend so quick.
Right.
And I'm thinking, really? $5 bets, double odds, and I lost $1,000? I mean, that can happen. That's just.
Well, I'll tell you what, one way, if you really want to make your time last and you have a limited bankroll, you play like my mom. Take a pass line bet and single or double odds.
Right. You don't have to take maximum odds. A lot of people will say, oh, you've got to take as much as you can in odds.
Right.
And we understand the rationale there, but your bankroll might not be big enough to handle that.
Right. So if you going in, your bankroll isn't big enough, take single odds or double odds. And, that's what my mom does. And then she places either the 6 or the 8.
Yeah, right.
So if the point's 8 or 6, she takes the other one and places it. If it's a 5, then she'll just, in her mind flip a coin. Oh, I'm taking the 6 or the 8.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what she does.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, she does quite well.
Well, and I think she enjoys herself too.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to do that.
Oh, I wouldn't enjoy
you'd
myself.
shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah, it's not enough action for me.
Yeah. But yeah, that is good advice, right? Yeah. You don't have to necessarily take max odds, and be prepared to need more money than you think you're going to need. That's our money management advice, basically.
Yeah.
Is that, you really need more than you think. And if you're able, you only have a certain size bankroll, then maybe you need to find some lower limits.
Right. Or adjust your style of play.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times we'll go up to a table and there'll only be like a $25 craps table.
Yes.
Which is what I normally play, but you like to play at a 10 or 15.
Yeah, that's too steep for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, or even a 5, you're sometimes at a 5.
I will prefer 5 for sure. Yeah.
Right. So, but you'll go to the 25 with me and you adjust how you play.
Right.
According to how much bankroll you have, knowing that you're going to have to make $25.
Yeah.
bets.
If you're at a $25 table and I'm thinking, I'm going to play with Mike for a while, I might go and just every shooter, place the 6 for 30.
Right.
And that's all I do.
Right.
And if you're happy with that, and I can be, I'm patient at the table.
Yeah, you're very patient.
So, that's good advice. That's good
but
advice.
I always look for the lower limit tables. Number one, because, if my mom's with me or you or my dad or whoever, they might want to play a lower limit.
Right.
And it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
If
You
it's
can
high
still
limit
play
or
whatever
low,
you.
I can play whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I also like the lower limit table because I can go down.
Yeah, right. If it's true.
If the table's bad, you can go down. So there's really no reason to play at a high limit table unless, and here's the one reason I do play there, it's less crowded.
Sure, that can be the case. Yeah.
And sometimes a too crowded a table is annoying.
Yeah.
The rolls are slower. There's so much going on.
I like a few people at the table, but I like a lot of shoulder room, elbow room.
Right,
I like to be able to.
I don't want to have to
spread
turn
out.
sideways when I'm at the table.
That's right. And then Derek was asking us about the Craps Bubble Machine. We've played one of those. It was called Shoot to Win.
Right.
And what's nice about it is you can play pretty low limits. Right?
Very low limits.
Yeah, so that's nice. And the machine we were playing at, you could take odds. It had pretty much all the bets.
Right.
The way that it worked was somebody was a shooter. The light would appear and then you were the shooter. And then after a certain amount of time, you had to press the button to make like this pop-o-matic machine go and flip these two oversized dice to come up with a roll.
It's like one of those popcorn poppers you buy for your kid when they're like 1 year old.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're learning to walk and they push it and it pops up, pop, 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 pop.
And if you're the shooter and the time goes on, then it pops by itself. So,
Right.
you don't, if you end up not pressing it in time. Here's the thing I didn't like about it.
It's too slow.
Well, too slow in some ways.
Right.
Here's now think about when you're a real craps table, all right? At what point is there a lot of time between rolls? It's when there's a new shooter that has just established his first point.
Right. Everyone's making their bets.
Everybody's making their bets, right? He's, 0.6.
Right.
Okay. That's when all the money comes in. People are making place bets. They're taking hard ways, that kind of thing. Well, on these shoot to win machines, it's a set amount of time. I don't know, 30 seconds between each roll. I wish that there was a longer period
on the
for
come out.
when the shooter has established a point. Because I remember, I had trouble getting all my bets out there in time.
Right. I didn't get some of mine out.
Right. But then on subsequent rolls, it's like, okay, our bets are out there. Come on, roll.
We have nothing else to do. Yeah, our bets are already there.
And when you're at a regular craps table, well, the stick man, as soon as all the bets are set, then he sends the dice, right?
I think you've determined how to build a better mousetrap.
I should come up with my own bubble machine.
Your own bubble machine. Yeah. Mark's bubble machine is what we'll call it.
So the upside is, you can, low rates or low limits, and there's no pressure from other players at the table. If you're doing something wrong,
right?
There's no pressure. There's a time pressure, like, I've got to get my bet out. But if you do something wrong,
remember we were playing in that lady. It was her turn, and she made a point and immediately summoned out. I laid into her. That's shitty rolling. That is shitty rolling.
Well, I guess that's another thing you need to worry about. Mike being at the machine with you. Yeah.
Laying into you. What are you doing over there?
So I don't know. I can't see us ever playing it again. Certainly not in lieu of, regular craps game. So, but we did
novel.
it once.
It's novel though. It's fun. It was kind of octagon shape, if I remember correctly.
That
the
sounds
seating,
right. Yeah.
It was like octagon shape.
Yeah. And, I'm sure there are people who like it, who maybe don't like the social aspect of a regular craps game, even though there are people sitting around. But
yeah. Well, you don't have to talk to them. Leave me alone. I'm making my bets.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
All right. Anyway, Derek, thanks again for the voicemail. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You pay the same price just like normal. Well, we got an email from listener Bill. He sent us some more questions.
Good. I like his questions.
Yeah. So he was looking at an article that was in Yahoo Finance that was talking about how the win in Nevada, for the casino win in April, was up a little bit from last year. And they were talking about Baccarat specifically. And in the article, it says that the Baccarat winnings on the Las Vegas Strip this April were up 40% from April of last year. Some of it was that more was being bet,
right?
So they were getting more action.
Right.
The article went on to say luck also favored the house, which benefited from a hold percentage of nearly 14% compared with 12% in April 2013. So Bill was saying, okay, the house edge for Baccarat is normally around 1% to 2%. On the game. That's true. If you're betting on player or banker,
right.
those which are the basic bets, it's between 1% and 2%. That's the house edge. So Bill asked, is such a large hold based on aspects such as the tie bet or other side bets, or am I missing something? I want to bring up the topic of the casino win versus hold and what factors, besides standard deviation, luck, side bets, bad play, etc., could make such a huge difference in the percentages. In Baccarat, we're basically talking about a coin flip. One would think the win would, on average, at least be close in percentage to the house advantage. In the aforementioned case, I would think a lucky month would be closer to maybe just double the casino advantages, not 14%, right?
But he's thinking it'd be like 3 or 4%.
Right. So this is a great question. What it comes down to really is there's a big difference between the casino edge on a game and the casino's hold. Now they are related, but they are different. So let's talk about the casino's edge first. The edge is determined by math.
Yeah, it's pure math.
Right. So let's say when you work through the math, you may figure out that for a particular wager, the house edge is 1%. We'll just keep this simple, right?
Okay.
1%. Okay. So that means if you make $100 wager, you on average are going to lose $1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over a period of time, that $100 you're going to lose on each time you make that bet, you'll lose $1. Right. And your expected return is going to be $99.
Yeah, 99%.
99%.
Right. Per bet. Okay.
Per bet.
That's the house edge, and it's calculated by math. The hold is the real amount of money that the casino ends up winning based on how much you bought in for.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say you bought in for $1,000 and you played for, 3 or 4 hours, and then you cashed out for $800.
Okay.
Okay. The casino hold
is $200.
$200 or 20%.
Or 20% of your initial buy-in.
Of your initial buy-in.
Right.
Okay. So now the theoretical hold on a game, getting back to that 1% game, right? Let's say you were betting $100 a hand. Okay. And you played, 50 hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you cashed out. The theoretical hold for the casino is $50.
Right.
Right. And, depending on how much you bought in for, it would be a percentage of that. That's theoretical, but really what they care about is the real hold.
Right.
Okay. So anyway.
And that's where other factors come in.
Right. How long a player has played.
Right.
How much he bought in for.
Right.
And luck.
And luck and how good he plays.
Right. That's it too.
Because the house edge is calculated on you playing perfect strategy.
Right. Now in Baccarat, there's no strategy. You make your bet and that's it. Right.
Yeah, right. And I think that's what he was driving at, why it would be closer to, maybe a double of the edge.
And, when you think about it, if you're playing a game long enough, you're going to lose all your money. If it's a negative EV game, you're going to lose everything. So if you played long enough, if you
lose $1 every time, eventually your $100 is going to be zero after you played 100 hands.
That's right. Yeah. So that, again, we're talking about theory here, but if you bought in for $1,000, you played, you'll eventually lose it all.
Sure.
Right. So
I've done that.
So now what they're talking about is the hold is, all the players, how much they buy in for and how much the casino wins from how much they bought in for.
Right. So that's the percent they come up with.
That's the hold. So that's why it's a big difference. And the hold is really what they care about.
Sure.
And so
that's their bottom line.
This last year, apparently, in April, the 2 different months, it really was luck. Not just luck, but maybe people were playing longer.
Right.
Or bought in for less.
Buying in for less and playing
lost
longer.
Something like that. So that's what the hold is. And that's the bottom line. That's what the casino really cares about. In this article, they were talking about how Baccarat accounts for like 20% of, the casino revenue. And that if they hadn't counted Baccarat, the casino win would have actually gone down from now to last year. It still blows my mind. I mean, we all know that Baccarat is the preferred game for high rollers, and it is so dull. There is no decision.
No, it is so dull. There's one decision, whether you're going to be in the bank or the play.
That's it. That's all you're doing, right? If you enjoy that, And
I don't get the guys that sit there and, really write player,
and they're keeping track.
And they look at their card and then I'm on the bank I mean, What is that?
I don't understand. All the other, with blackjack, you've got a decision. Sure, if you're playing basic strategy, there's really no decision.
Right.
But it's different every time, right?
Right.
You've got to remember. Pai Gow poker, you're setting it different. Something like roulette or craps, there are different bets that you can make. You
Right.
don't have to just
There's
make
a
one.
betting strategy.
Yeah. So I still don't understand, and I never will. But
We've played Baccarat quite a bit in the past. It is so boring.
Yeah.
I can't sit there that long.
So, Bill's second question. I think you guys mentioned you went to Vegas recently. I wanted to kindly ask you for a review of your gaming, hotel, food, town, projects, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we're going tonight, basically. We're posting this episode on Friday, June 6th. So tonight we're going to be heading to Vegas.
Right. We're going to be heading to Vegas
Yep.
and coming back on Sunday.
So we will give you a review when we come back from that.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things on our list.
Yep.
Things we need to do, things we need to see.
Yep.
And we got a lot of craps to play.
A lot of craps to play. Bill's third question. If you guys were building / running a casino hotel, what changes would you implement based on your own casino hotel experiences? What style would the hotel be, and what would you offer promotionally that would get folks to play / stay at your place?
Well, that's a hard question, actually, because there are so many things I like that wouldn't be feasible to making profit running a hotel,
Okay.
right? For instance, every room would be next to the elevator. If we'd have a ton of elevators in our hotel.
Yeah, that would be, well, that's okay. So you wouldn't,
I hate when you get out of the elevator and it's like a hike to the back of the hall where your
it's a
room
nightmare.
is. It's a nightmare.
It is. Yeah, I agree. I don't really know what I would say about as far as the hotel goes because, how much time do we spend in the room?
Not much.
But as far as the casino goes, I would probably use the Benny Binion model of,
definitely.
Just catering to the gambler.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Basically taking all comers, taking big bets, having great rules at the table, good loose slots and
For
good pay
instance, if the
tables on video poker.
Cosmopolitan had done that from the get-go, they probably wouldn't have had so much financial
Maybe.
problem.
I mean, let's not try to guess
Right.
figure we could solve
they
all
didn't-
of Cosmo's problems.
Yeah, but they didn't have a big enough casino, and it didn't attract gamblers.
Yeah, that's.
If you're in Vegas and you're talking about a casino / hotel, you need gamblers.
I mean, we could get into a big discussion about this, but it seems like Vegas is shifting a little bit. More people are coming, fewer people are gambling.
Right.
They're going to clubs,
Right.
restaurants, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you remember when it was like, we're going to get the families?
Sure.
And how did that work
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
Now, how's the club thing going to work out?
We'll see.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's Vegas. Go back to gambling.
That's what I would do, right? I would make it very appealing to gamblers, and I would get out there and say, hey, look, we've got the best rules in town. Come take a shot.
Yeah, right. Come take a shot. We've got good rules. We give good comps.
Yeah.
Get gamblers there. The game, the edge is in your favor. It's called a house edge because they have the edge and they're going to win in the long run.
It would be so easy to do, give, 10 times odds on craps or more,
Right.
Make the prop bets pay better.
Right.
My understanding is that in Australia, like a hard 8
Right. Pays better.
pays 9.5 to 1.
Right.
Right. Not just 9 to 1.
Right.
Right. Do stuff like that. Can you imagine being the only casino in Vegas saying, yeah, we pay better on hard ways.
Right. Oh, yeah. You'd get it. Your craps tables would be full all the time.
3-2 double deck blackjack.
Right.
I mean, if, watch out for counters, but counters are not going to, there are a lot of articles out now recently about how stupid Hard Rock was for barring,
Right.
Ben Affleck from playing blackjack,
Right,
right?
right.
Because it's sending out a message to young players that, yeah, if you're too good to play, we don't want you,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you can't win, right? And God, the publicity that they could have gotten if instead they'd said, yeah, Ben Affleck was counting, he took us for $250,000. Oh my gosh, what great publicity for them.
Right. Right. Let everyone enter. And as far as counting goes, I guess you have to take that with a grain of salt. But if some guy was, taking you for millions, you'd probably want to bar him. But if some guy comes in and he's counting and he's going, from $5 to $25 bets,
Right.
let him count all he wants.
Exactly.
Right. Now, if he's going from $100 to $10,000 bets, then maybe you've got an issue, right?
Right. Yeah.
But it's so overblown is what it is. It's overblown. It's their paranoia.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. At least make the casino gambler friendly.
Gambler friendly, right? And then, as far as the hotel, just have clean rooms and decent food.
Yeah, right.
You'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we would do. That might not appeal to all Las Vegas visitors, but it would certainly appeal to gamblers.
To gamblers,
like us.
yeah. And a wide open casino, not so cramped and...
I like that too. And some people don't. Some people think it's like a warehouse. I like it, all open and plenty of room. I don't like tight quarters in a casino.
I like to, when I hit a hard 8, I like to have enough room to do a little dance.
Yeah, you go out in the middle, you dance. Sometimes you trip an elderly person.
Yeah, and then come back.
Yeah. Bill, another question from Bill. He says, because gambling is so prolific today and there are so many casino hotels, don't you feel there would be more TV shows or movies centered around players and the endless characters the casinos attract and the roller coaster of playing high-stake games? For example, while not stellar, I found the reality show at the Golden Nugget a few years ago was pretty compelling, sort of behind-the-scenes look, replete with a few gambling stories.
I like that show.
See, here, I had a problem with that show. I agree that there should be more, but the problem with a lot of these reality shows, and I'll say I'm a reality show fan, except for the reality shows that are staged.
Right.
And that one at the Golden Nugget, it was obvious that they were staging stuff or prepping stuff. Yeah. And that drives me nuts. I can't watch those.
But I just like to look at the casino. I guess that was my appeal.
I'll watch it too. If they really had reality shows, or again, he was talking about movies or, shows like that really showed the way that it is and wasn't trying to make stuff up, then
I guess
that might
it's
help.
hard. It's like I told Mark before we sat down, they don't have shows like that because gamblers are out gambling. They're not home watching TV. So who'd be watching the shows, right?
I think the other problem that producers have is they want to get as broad an audience as they can. Right. So that's why they maybe introduce these stage things in here.
Right.
Think about our show, right? I know that our listeners out there enjoy talking about gambling. They enjoy gambling, but we're a niche show, right? We're not for everybody because not everybody's interested in gambling.
Right. Most
that's
people
what we talk about.
And probably think, what the hell are they talking about?
Right. That's right. These idiots. So, I mean, I can kind of understand that.
Right.
That they're trying to appeal to as broad an audience that they can. And maybe a show that really hones in on gambling would just, make too many people tune away.
Right. Well, and the ratings would be low. I mean, my wife watches those home improvement reality shows all the time.
Yeah.
And they're staged like crazy.
Oh, sure.
I mean, they're staged like crazy. Yeah. Most of those ones, that one, like, I forget what it's called, Home International Buyers or Home Buyers International, something like that.
Uh-huh.
That, they've already bought the home. It's like they're deciding amongst 3 homes that they're going to pick.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, they've already bought the home, then they do the show.
Yeah.
And they pick 2 other homes of similar to let them look at.
Okay.
And decide. It's all staged.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to watch for, somebody, sitting at home wanting to see different parts of the world, what homes are like and what they look like.
Yeah.
But gambling wouldn't go like that.
And, we've talked about this show, Money Talks. It was on CNBC for a while, right? Steve Stevens, right?
Right. Steve.
And boy, talk about stage.
Right.
I mean, it's sort of comically so.
Right.
Anyway, so who knows? Hopefully something will come along that, we can really get into again, some kind of reality gambling show or series even.
We should probably think about that and come up with something.
All right, let's do that.
Seriously, we might, not have to do this anymore.
Like we're making money on this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we are going to Vegas. Again, we're leaving tonight late. 10 o'clock flight. What the hell were you thinking?
I have no idea.
I'm going straight to bed.
I've got patience till like 6, so I'm gonna go home, take a shower, and head to the airport.
I'll meet you down there, and then seriously, when we're there, I'm going straight to bed. You don't believe me? It's going to happen.
Oh, I know you'll go to bed.
Yeah, because I'm not.
My wife and I won't go to bed.
All right, I'm going to bed, and then
my brother won't go to bed.
I'm going to wake up.
He's
early.
getting there in the morning, by the way.
Oh, Saturday morning?
No, Friday.
So he's going to be there all day.
Yeah, he'll be there all day.
All right, well, I'm going to wake up early, 6:30 or something like that. Call you, wake you up.
Oh, you can come over. I'll be up.
Okay,
I'll still be at the craps too.
All right, but. And then we're leaving early on Sunday. You're leaving really early, but you're leaving like late morning, right?
Late morning, noon.
So this is basically just a Saturday trip.
Right.
So we're going to tweet the whole time. If you want to meet up with us or if you just want to follow us and see how we're doing, we'll tweet and let you know what's happening. And there are 3 things in particular that I wanted to remind you to do. First of all, the
Okay.
Belmont Stakes, it's going to run while we're there.
Yeah, Saturday.
So we got to make a
I
bet.
think post time's like 3:20, something like that.
Maybe a little bit later. Oh, no, you're right.
think
I
it's
think
like
it, yeah, something like that.
3:20 or
So I'll
something.
probably bet on California Chrome. I think what I'm going to do is make like a big bet and then a small bet.
Yeah.
And the big bet I'll cash in if he wins. And the other one I'll just hang on to and say, oh, look, here's a bet I made on the Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
And I'll frame it or something.
You know, he raced here at Del Mar.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
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 All right.
Early in his career.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's kind of like a local horse. I'm going to call him a local horse.
All right. All right. Good. The other thing we're going to do, remember you promised the next time you
Yep.
were in Vegas, you were going to make 2 baseball bets.
Right.
Identical bets, except one will be that it's void if there's a pitching change.
Right.
And the other will be that the odds will change if there's a pitching change. Right.
And I just want to see how they print that up.
Right. How it's different. Because chances are there won't be a pitching change.
Right.
But I'm curious to see that too.
I just want to see how it's printed up. And I'm working on a new baseball betting scheme.
Yeah.
So I'll bring that out later. We'll see how that
We want to
works.
see how it works this weekend. Yeah. He was telling me about it earlier, folks. You're in for quite a treat. And then also, we're going to try to buy the 5 and 9 while we're there, right? Because since
Yeah.
they collect VIG only on winners, buying the 5 and 9 is actually a better bet than placing the 5 and 9. So I'm going to try that and see if I can, if the
we'll
dealers
make a
are
big stink if they don't let us do
right.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll try
What
to.
kind of sawdust joint is
We'll
this?
try to flip over the craps table.
Yeah.
Those are heavy, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do this.
They let us do it down at Golden Gate. That's what we'll yell.
What, flip the table or buy the 5 and 9, right? All right, that's going to do it for this episode of You Can Bet on That. Be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, email, and our voicemail hotline. And you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk about our moms and their gambling habits.
Yeah, since it's Father's Day.
Then since it's Father's Day coming up, because back on Mother's Day, we talked about our dads. So that's just common sense.
Yeah, right.
With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonThat.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We would love to hear from you. We love hearing from listeners.
Yes, we do.
Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. Again, that's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also follow us on Twitter at You Can Bet On That. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. And I'm going to be tweeting constantly on Saturday, starting Friday night. But,
Right.
every move that we make, I'm going to be tweeting. So follow us on
good.
Twitter. Yep. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/You Can Bet On That. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners.
Very
All right,
good.
Mike, take us home.
Well, let's see. About our trip.
Yeah.
Got a few things I need to do. Number one, I need to get my wife a frozen hot chocolate.
Oh, the Serendipity 3,
Yep,
those are very
yep.
good. Yeah, if you
She's-
like chocolate, it's
It's
very
chocolatey. But, the last 2 trips, she hasn't gotten one, and I've been paying the price for that.
Okay.
And
Enough said.
yeah, and and she's getting her hair cut too at Caesars. They have a great.
That's the only place she gets her
It's
haircut.
the only
Is that
place
right?
she gets her hair
Caesar's
cut.
Palace,
Caesar's
Las
Palace,
Vegas.
Las Vegas. The girl who cuts it there, I have to admit, does a wonderful job.
Okay.
I mean, really, the best haircut she's ever gets. So she makes a reservation with the same gal.
All right.
Gets her hair cut.
Good.
And then other than that, we're going to be playing a lot of craps.
I think a lot, yes.
Yeah, we'll see the Cromwell. We'll
Yep.
go over to the World Series of Poker. We'll
Yep.
do those 2 things for sure.
Yeah, you going to go up in the Ferris wheel?
No.
All right.
My wife's going to buy Gucci products.
Okay.
And what else? I guess and play craps.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.